For the past few years, starting really in 2012, I've been writing both by myself and with my co-author and colleague Mitu Gulati about how sovereigns, governments, exchange territory, especially territory that's populated, that has people on it. And we have, in a series of articles, argued that international law has changed and now imposes more requirements than it used to. But these articles have been kind of sitting on, various publications, sort of lonely for the last few years until last week when the president announced this apparently serious plan to pursue the purchase of Greenland. And since then, people have taken a renewed interest in something which, for us, was purely academic at the time. So I actually heard about it from a media request. I was on vacation and my phone started ringing. I was at the beach with my family. And people started asking about, well, what about the United States buying Greenland? And I could not initially figure out what on earth they were talking about. And then I saw the tweets and the headlines and sort of backed into where the story was coming from. So it's been a lot of fun. People are curious about things that motivated me as a scholar. And so it's always nice to sort of share that enthusiasm with someone else, even in these kind of bizarre circumstances of what was really an academic paper becoming sort of front page news. Yeah, I mean, these kinds of suggestions on a much smaller scale get floated sometimes and make the news. So, in the sort of depths of the Greek economic crisis, there was a suggestion that Greece should sell off some of its islands to help pay off its debt. Maybe somebody like Germany would want to have some islands in the Mediterranean. And that's a much different proposition because the islands people were talking about, they're uninhabited, it's much simpler. I kind of thought that if this ever came to the fore again, the conversation would start with those kinds of examples. And not an example like this one where you have just massive island with tens of thousands of people living on it who are citizens and who have this sort of autonomous territory status from Denmark. So it sort of started on the complicated end where I thought that maybe the conversation would start the baby steps. Most law review articles of the kind that we write, 50 or 60 pages, heavily footnoted. They're read by other scholars, if that. And I will say this is not one of my better cited or better read pieces. So it's unusual now to be getting all these calls and have a chance to essentially workshop ideas that I talked about with colleagues years ago, but on, in a sort of different public forum.